Spider-Man dropped the serum, the last vial that could save Earth. Iron Man's armor shut down mid-flight. Captain Marvel vanished into deep space. Thor called it betrayal. Hulk called it war. But Wakanda didn't wait. It led. Black Panther rose from the shadows, unmasked, and formed the final Avengers, without Spider-Man. The sky above Manhattan was split by fire. Red streaks of falling metal lit the night like dying stars, while the streets below were drowning in chaos. Buildings crumbled into themselves, infected with a black sickness. Symbiote veins that pulsed and expanded across glass and steel, wrapping the city in a living, breathing monster. Screams of civilians echoed between shattered cars. Sirens no longer worked. Radios only broadcast static. In the middle of it all, Spider-Man ran. Not swung. Ran. His left arm was scorched from elbow to wrist. His mask was torn, exposing one eye swollen with smoke and blood. But in his hand, clutched like it was the only thing that mattered in the universe, was a glowing vial. Inside it swirled an iridescent serum, unstable, glowing purple-blue, flickering like it had a mind of its own. It was the last vial, the anti-symbiote prototype, built from Stark nanotech and Wakandan vibranium dust, meant for Shuri, meant for Wakanda's lab, meant to stop the infection before it reached the Earth's core. Spider-Man was supposed to deliver it, and he was almost there. He leapt over a crumbling taxi, flipped off a burning street lamp, and landed in the middle of a crosswalk that no longer meant anything. His breathing was erratic. His HUD kept glitching. Then he heard it, a whimper. Just behind a half-collapsed bus, a child cried. Alone. No mother, no father. She was maybe 5, holding a plush toy, legs trapped under metal. Peter froze. The serum hissed in his hand. His earpiece buzzed, War Machine screaming, "Do not stop. You're 2 blocks from extraction. Move, Spider-Man." He looked at the vial, then at the girl. He turned, ran toward her. The moment he touched the bus, everything changed. A tentacle, black, thick, fast, whipped out from under the concrete and wrapped around his torso. He yelled, webbed at it with one hand, but the vial slipped from his grip. It spun midair, light catching on every rotation. He dove for it, too slow. The vial shattered on impact. The purple serum spread in a useless puddle across the asphalt. Everything paused. The child screamed again. The symbiote shrieked in rage and slithered back into the sewer grates. The sky above rumbled. A golden beam dropped from orbit, Iron Man's emergency suit. But it didn't land. It crashed. Right in front of Spider-Man, Tony's armor slammed into the ground, smoke pouring from every joint. Its chest plate was ripped open. The arc reactor dimmed. Then silence. "Tony," Peter whispered. "No, no, 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 no." A new thunder cracked. Thor landed behind him, cape still burning from upper atmosphere re-entry. His eyes were white fire. His grip on Mjolnir was murderous. "What have you done?" Thor's voice was low, trembling with fury. I tried to save her," Peter started, chest heaving. "You chose a child over the world," Thor growled. "She was alone. I couldn't let her. You dropped the cure." Thor stepped closer. "You were trusted. You failed." Peter backed away. His hands shook. His suit flickered from damage, revealing the torn flesh beneath. His heart wasn't just broken, it was shattered. "I can fix it. I'll make it right." "There is no right," Thor said coldly. "Only what's left." Suddenly, the clouds parted with a distant hum. A triangular shadow broke through the dark, a Wakandan hovercraft. Sleek, silent, untouched by the infection, it hovered above the ruins and then descended slowly. Out of it stepped T'Challa, alive, unscarred, and absolutely calm. No cape, no helmet, just a Black Panther suit with silver etching and a gaze that turned the world still. He looked down at the glowing puddle of lost serum, then at Spider-Man, then at Thor. "I thought you were in hiding," Thor said, not bothering to mask the tension. "Hiding is for prey," T'Challa replied. "Wakanda does not hide." Spider-Man stepped forward, desperate. "I didn't mean to. Please, I swear I tried." T'Challa simply raised a hand. not in anger, in silence. Then he turned away and looked over the city. The black tendrils had begun to retract into the sewers, into the alleys. The symbiotes were pulling back, preparing for something. Wakanda warned the council months ago, T'Challa said, that the infection wasn't just alien, it was coordinated. It thinks, it waits. And now, he looked directly at the shattered vial. It watches us fail. Thor tightened his grip on Mjolnir. So what now, he asked. You take command? Declare yourself king of the broken. T'Challa didn't blink. No, he said. I declare the age of symbols is over. The world doesn't need kings, or gods, or boys pretending to be men. Peter flinched. T'Challa stepped onto a cracked podium, his voice carrying over every destroyed street, over every dying echo of Manhattan. The Avengers are scattered. The serum is gone. Stark Tech is collapsing. Banner is missing. Captain Marvel unreachable. He paused, then looked up at the Wakandan craft, still hovering. We do not beg the universe to save us. He turned back to the others. We lead now. No one spoke. Then from above, Shuri's voice crackled through the hovercraft comms. Brother, the satellites detect movement. South Pole, under the crust. T'Challa didn't hesitate. Activate the Citadel. Call in the reserves. And prepare the sky rail. Peter found his voice again, barely a whisper. You're forming a new team. T'Challa didn't look at him, but his words hit like thunder. Not a team, not a family, not an idea. He began walking back toward his ship, the final Avengers. And then he was gone. Peter stood in the ash of his failure, and above him, the sky began to darken again. The skies over Wakanda shimmered with violet lightning. Far above the golden mountains and deep vibranium fields, a floating platform emerged from behind the hidden shield wall. The Wakandan sky citadel, dormant for years. Now it pulsed awake, rising through cloud and storm, alive with power and purpose. Inside, Shuri stood over the central console. Her fingers danced across the hard light interface, loading schematics faster than the eye could track. Her face was focused, unreadable. Behind her, T'Challa walked through the Citadel's war corridor, his suit sealed, eyes scanning digital projections of global fault points. Infection sites were multiplying underground, not random anymore. They were strategic, calculated. Thor stood at the edge of the projection table, arms crossed. You do not speak for Earth, Panther, he said, voice edged with warning. I don't, T'Challa replied calmly, but I speak for the only power left that isn't broken, missing, or infected. Watch your tone. I watched my world fall, T'Challa said. I watched New York fail. I watched Stark fall from the sky, like scrap. We are out of time. Then call the Avengers, Thor snapped. T'Challa met his gaze. I just did. The room fell silent. Shuri lifted her gaze. The infection has moved deeper. South Pole tectonic plates. They've tunneled down toward the Earth's molten core. If they nest there, we lose everything. Oceans, gravity, climate. This planet becomes one living, breathing symbiote. And the serum's gone, Thor muttered. Not completely, Shuri said. The nanotech fragment Spider-Man dropped was scanned before it degraded. I can rebuild a small portion. How small? Enough to inject into a person. Not a cure, but a weapon. Thor gritted his teeth. You would turn one of us into bait? Shuri stared at him. I would turn one of us into the one thing the Hive cannot consume. T'Challa nodded. We don't need gods. We need immune systems. Thor slammed Mjolnir into the wall, cracking the vibranium plating. You play science while the earth burns. And you threw lightning while the serum shattered. T'Challa replied without emotion. Thunder stirred in Thor's eyes. The tension cracked like a live wire. Then a new voice echoed from the far end of the citadel. Both of you shut up. Everyone turned. War Machine, armor patched, smoke still rising off the shoulder plate. His left leg dragged slightly, but his eyes were pure fire. Behind him floated a new prototype drone, carrying intel feeds from SWRD. Rhodey walked to the center. Captain Marvel's not coming back. Iron Man's out. Hulk's gone dark. Strange is off-world. That leaves us. So, if Wakanda's leading, I'm in. But don't mistake my agreement for submission. T'Challa nodded. Agreed. Rhodey stepped closer. And Spider-Man? He's being hunted by his own guilt, T'Challa replied. Let him find his own way, or die trying. A beat of silence. Then Shuri's voice returned. I've analyzed the infection nodes. There's one beacon, buried under Antarctica. A black crystal core. It's feeding the hive signal across the globe. The heart, T'Challa said. We kill it, we delay their evolution. Thor's voice darkened. You're not ready for war. T'Challa turned to him. I've been preparing for it since the day Wakanda watched New York fall the first time. He stepped onto the war deck, where holograms displayed schematics of a new fleet, solar-shielded sky raiders, vibranium pulse blades, and a prototype that hadn't been seen by the world yet, the Wakandan Armor Corps. Select warriors, T'Challa said. No council, no banners, no fanfare, only those who fight to the last breath. Who do you have in mind? Rhodey asked. T'Challa didn't answer. He pressed a button and, on screen, identities loaded. Moon Knight, already en route by stealth glider. Valkyrie, last seen dueling symbiote-infected frost giants in Greenland. Storm, on standby over the African coast, eyes already glowing. Shuri, suiting up in vibranium skin tech. Black Panther, Commander. War Machine, air support. And a blank space, labeled Asset Unstable. Spider-Man, Shuri whispered. Thor exhaled heavily. You're still giving him a chance. No, T'Challa said. I'm giving Earth one last variable. And variables change everything. Then let him prove it, Rhodey said. But if he fails again, he won't, Shuri interrupted, her voice uncharacteristically firm. Because this time you won't be alone. Suddenly, alarms flared. The Citadel's AI lit up with a red sigil. Shuri's eyes widened. Inbound signature, piercing through the magnetosphere. No ID. Rhodey's drone pulled up visuals. A glowing figure plummeted from orbit, wrapped in black-red symbiote wings. Trails of corrupted cosmic energy spiraled around her. Captain Marvel. But her face was wrong. Eyes pitch black, skin cracked with pulsating alien lines. She's been turned, Shuri said. Impossible, Thor muttered. She's stronger than all of us. Not anymore, T'Challa said. The Citadel shook as Carol slammed into the force field, cracking it. She hovered there, hovering like an angel of death. Then her mouth opened, and a voice, not hers, echoed. We gave you one chance to leave this world. T'Challa stared through the glass, unmoved. You infect gods, he said. But Wakanda is not divine. We're real. We're angry. And then he gave the order. Drop the field. Outside, the night trembled. Inside, the final Avengers were born. The tunnels beneath New York stank of oil, blood, and decay. Spider-Man crouched low, web shooters nearly empty, suit torn beyond recognition. His breathing echoed in his mask. He hadn't slept in 2 days. He hadn't spoken to anyone since Wakanda made its move. He didn't deserve to. The vial was gone. The cure shattered. Tony's armor had dropped like a corpse. And now, the world was rallying around a new leader, not him. A new ping hit his wrist interface. SWRD drone detected. 34 meters. He moved. Silently, he webbed to the upper pipes, hiding in the shadows. The drone buzzed past, scanning. For a second, he thought it was gone. Then it turned mid-air and aimed straight at him. A small missile deployed from its side. Spider-Man dodged, but the explosion knocked him into the wall. Concrete cracked around him. He grunted, swung blind, and slammed the drone into the floor. Sparks burst out as it collapsed, its red lens flickering. His comm crackled. You're being hunted, Parker. Stand down. War Machine's voice. Spider-Man didn't respond. He ran. Up a stairwell, through a collapsed train platform, past mutated symbiote sludge oozing from sewer grates. He knew where he had to go. Not north, not west. Down. The infection was growing downward, underground, and someone or something was building more than just a hive. He'd seen the signs. He'd followed the pattern. He had to know what they were hiding. He reached a sealed tunnel. blown out by vibranium charges weeks ago. His palm print still worked. Somehow, the door opened with a groan. He stepped into silence. And then he saw it. A massive underground chamber. Walls coated in symbiote growth. Pods, hundreds of them, floating in translucent liquid, connected by biotubes, pulsing with a sickly rhythm. Inside each pod a hero, or their copy. He moved closer. His hand touched the glass of one pod. It was him, Peter Parker. Same face, same suit, same scars, sleeping. Another drone hovered silently behind him, but this one didn't shoot. It projected a hologram. "Shuri, you were right to come here," she said. Spider-Man turned slowly. "You knew." "We suspected. A cloning facility, hybridized with symbiote DNA. Someone is copying Earth's heroes. Perfectly, but corrupted." Peter swallowed hard. "Why me?" "Because you were first," she said. Another pod activated behind him. A figure stepped out, dripping with liquid. Symbiote lines writhing beneath artificial skin. It was another Spider-Man. Same eyes, same voice, same speed, but colder. "I'm not your clone," the creature said. "I'm your correction." The real Peter flinched. "You failed." "I won't." The clone lunged. Peter barely dodged. The chamber exploded into chaos, webs flying, fists colliding, glass shattering. He fought himself, not just in body, but in spirit. Every doubt, every mistake, every regret came back in the mirror of fists and kicks. The clone was faster, stronger, but not smarter. Peter lured it into a broken control panel and shocked the system. The clone spasmed, shrieked, then crumpled. He stood over the body, bleeding, breathing, broken. Shuri's voice returned. "We can't stop them from cloning you again. But now we know where the infection is heading." Peter stared into the dark. "I'm not running anymore." And for the first time since the vial shattered, he believed it. The Wakandan sky citadel floated above Earth like a silent god. Its outer plating pulsed with kinetic energy, resisting gravity and enemy signals alike. Inside, where had no time for debate, final decisions were being made. Lives would end. Earth might follow. But Black Panther stood unmoved. He stared out at the distant stars, hands behind his back, cape gently brushing the obsidian floor. Shuri approached him, armored now in her own suit, sleeker than before, built for battle, not ceremony. "We've confirmed it," she said. "The crystal core beneath Antarctica is alive." He didn't turn. And the infection? Accelerating. They've breached Earth's outer core. If it bonds with the planet's magnetic field, we'll lose the sky. T'Challa took a breath. "Then we attack before it breathes." "Alone." "No." The floor shifted beneath them as the war deck opened. A new command table rose from the center, flanked by glowing Wakandan sigils. The screen lit up. Faces began to appear. First was Storm, standing on the African plains, wind twisting around her body as lightning carved symbols into the sky. Then Valkyrie, aboard a stolen Kree skiff over the Arctic winds, gripping a fragment of the shattered Bifrost like a blade made of stars. Moon Knight, bloodied, silent, standing atop the ruins of an infected temple, his white suit dirted but defiant. War Machine, locking into place aboard a Wakandan interceptor, new armor freshly fused with vibranium upgrades. The last line of air support. And then, Spider-Man. No words, just a nod. His suit had changed. It was rough, stitched together with Wakanda mesh and leftover StarTech. His emblem was burned. His mask was torn, but his eyes were clear. T'Challa walked to the center of the room. No fanfare, no crown, only mission. "This is not a rescue mission," he said. "This is extermination. We are not heroes tonight. We are the last immune cells of a dying planet." Storm raised her hand. "I will rip the sky open if needed," she said. Moon Knight tilted his head. "Let's make the gods bleed." Valkyrie tightened her grip on the shard. "For Asgard, for Earth." War Machine locked his visor. "About time we punched back." Spider-Man stepped forward into full frame. "No more second chances," he said. Let's end it. Shuri tapped the command console. A map unfolded in the air, Antarctica, glowing with infection veins. The core pulsed. A countdown began. 12 hours until total planetary bonding. Suddenly, an alert flashed. Incoming transmission, Shuri muttered. T'Challa narrowed his eyes. From where? Low orbit. Encrypted frequency. Recognized origin, but corrupted. The hologram shimmered, and then she appeared. Captain Marvel. But not the Carol they remembered. Her body glowed with black cosmic energy. Her eyes were hollow voids. Her voice was her own, but behind it, something else breathed. You can't stop the hive, she said. Storm stepped forward. Carol, fight it. You don't understand, she replied. I'm not being controlled. I chose it. The hive doesn't destroy. It evolves. It connects. Connections built on infection, T'Challa said. Carol's face twitched. A flicker of resistance. Then gone. I warned you. Stand down or be consumed. T'Challa didn't blink. We've already been consumed by your silence. The hologram collapsed. No one said a word. Then Shuri pressed the ignition. All units. Launch sequence initiated. Outside, from deep within the sky citadel, massive black-winged ships unfolded. They bore no flags. Only mirrored panels and dark metal, made for stealth and speed. One by one, the final Avengers boarded. Storm ascended through lightning. Valkyrie rode a broken comet trail. Moon Knight vanished into mist. War Machine disappeared into the sky. And Spider-Man stood at the edge of a launch bay. T'Challa walked up beside him. You could run, he said. I did, Peter replied. I'm done running. T'Challa placed a gloved hand on his shoulder. You are not who the world remembers. You are what it needs. Peter looked at him, eyes stinging behind the mask. Why me? Because you already survived your worst failure, T'Challa said. That makes you dangerous. A new ship unfolded from the bay's edge. Sleek, silent, painted red and black. The final Avengers launched. Their destination wasn't space or the sky. It was beneath the earth, where the core beat like a heart hijacked by infection. And as they descended through Earth's crust, through fire and pressure and silence, none of them looked back, because there was nothing left behind worth saving, unless they made it out alive. The Earth's crust split like bone under pressure. The final Avengers broke through into the hollowed core, a massive biomechanical hive pulsing with black and violet energy. The air burned. Gravity twisted. Nothing human belonged here. Yet they charged in. Storm unleashed a vortex of lightning from her palms, frying tendrils that reached for them from the walls. Moon Knight flung crescent blades laced with Shuri's nanite serum. War Machine dove into the abyss, raining sonic missiles on the horde. Black Panther led the way. No words, just motion. He moved like a shadow among monsters, vibranium claws slicing through symbiote husks that screamed with Carol's corrupted voice. At the center of the chamber pulsed the hive heart, a crystallized, breathing engine of black ooze, shaped like a massive cocoon. Inside, it floated Captain Marvel. Her eyes opened. She stepped out. She no longer walked. She glided, skin cracking with energy. Her voice was a choir of infected stars. You're too late, she said. Storm struck first. Thunder cracked across the hive. Carol raised a hand and turned the lightning into ash. Moon Knight leapt from above. She caught him midair and slammed him into the ground. His bones shattered. Valkyrie screamed and drove her broken Bifrost blade into Carol's back. But the symbiote reformed instantly. One by one, the team fell, until only two remained, Spider-Man and Black Panther. Carol's voice softened. Even you, T'Challa? You still believe in fighting fate? I believe in choice, he replied. And you, Peter? She asked. You could have saved them all, but you dropped the cure. You broke Earth. Peter stepped forward, slowly, shaking, but not afraid. I didn't come here to fix the past, he said. Carol smiled cruelly. Then why? Peter looked at T'Challa, then reached into his suit and pulled out the serum. One vial, Shuri's last prototype, enough for one body. "I came to end this," Peter whispered. Carol's smile vanished. Spider-Man stabbed the vial into his own neck. The change was instant. His veins lit up in white fire. His body twisted, overloaded with anti-symbiote nanites. His skin cracked, but he stood tall. The hive screamed. The walls recoiled. The infection panicked. Carol launched at him, but Spider-Man didn't dodge. He grabbed her and pulled her into himself. The chamber exploded with light. The hive heart shattered. The infection convulsed, then burned. Carol screamed, one final human sound before she dissolved into silver dust. Peter fell to his knees. T'Challa ran to him. "Peter," he whispered. Spider-Man looked up, smiling through blood. Didn't drop it this time. Then he collapsed. The earth went still. Above them, skies cleared. Satellites blinked back to life. The infection gone. The war was over. T'Challa stood alone in the chamber, smoke rising around him, the final breath of a planet saved by the boy it almost gave up on. He looked toward the broken cocoon and whispered, "Rest now. You earned it."